John and Mark, I think they were a really big deal a couple of years ago. They were the big deal, actually. But in the grand scheme of things, in adventure racing at this point in the world, they're not big deals.
We live in a time of unprecedented ease of life. In the modern day, as a human being, as much as we've evolved to look after ourselves and take care of ourselves, I think there's this inside of us that needs to be pushed to that edge. Food tastes different. Music sounds different. Everything sounds crisp and essential when you've been taken to the edge and back. And I think that's why, you know, people do a lot of things like this that take you to the edge and back, to be able to taste life in its fullness.
Every year we claim Adventure Race World Champs is the hardest race, the biggest race, the toughest course, the best teams. And this year, maybe it's true. There's 100 teams lining up from everywhere. I think there's 3 or 4 teams with world champions in them. Every team which has won a World Series race this year is starting. The defending champs are here. The only team which has beaten them is here. I think there are going to be people who come here with dreams of glory and get their butts kicked.
I'm terrified. You know, I don't want to say it in front of the other team, but I'm lying awake sweating at night. This is a big deal for me. I've come in the top 5 teams 3 times, and all of those races have been a disaster. So I've got that question in my mind: what happens if we do get it right?
Someone told me I was going to race against a 47-year-old man. I'd say I'm going to crush him into the dirt and spank him like a naughty child. And then if you race with Mark, you realise he's phenomenally strong, and I can't imagine that he's any weaker than he was 10 years ago.
Whenever you heard their name, it was associated with adventure racing legend.
John is 5 years younger than me. Probably what is, I would imagine, a typical older brother, younger brother relationship.
Mark definitely plays the role of the older brother. He, I would say, is the warrior of the team, and he takes a lot of the burden for decision making. Whereas John is definitely a bit more cavalier and a cowboy, runs around guns blazing and hopes it works out. And it generally does. And I think the two of them, they complement each other well, they play off each other. If you look at their history from racing in Camel Trophies to starting adventure racing to their last attempt at a World Champs, they've done it together, and I think they need each other.
We get an immense fulfillment out of sharing things. And I think we've got a lifetime of memories together of doing incredible things, doing things that are out of the ordinary. Between the two of us, we counted, we went to 40 countries in the space of about 4 or 5 years.
It's inspiring to see how keen and how psyched they still are on the things that they do. Their love for it hasn't diminished at all.
To think about, we've had 20 years of experience that we'll carry on sharing for another 20 years. Yeah, life is short.
All of us would love to be rock stars. You know, you come home and the airport's full of cheering people and you get this recognition. But in the end, it actually comes down to, it's a selfish thing and you do it for yourself. The only people who understand it are the 3 other guys who are with you at the time you're doing it.
Back in 1990, there wasn't much of the sport out there.
John and I both went into our first ever adventure races, and we found out it was shocking and thrilling at the same time. We really learned how brutal the sport can be. You know, to be out there for 5 days of non-stop suffering, mixed with 5 days of non-stop being enthralled, being in the moment. I think that's what it is about the sport, is you're in the moment the whole time. The rest of the world fades away and nothing else is important except moving forward.
It just really distills it down to all the experiences in a short period of time, and then you throw in uncertainty, which is essential to any adventure, where you don't know what the outcome is, you're tired, the emotions are running high, and it just feels like months of experience in 5 days.
And in that period of time you have immense highs and lows emotionally, and the challenges that you have to go through. It's the intensity of experience that you grow through rapidly.
Once you've had that range of experience, it's hard to go back to this narrow little confined space which you live in.
Those are the times if somebody said to you, take 30 days to heaven with you. A lot of those days in my life would come from my adventure racing days. And they weren't the easy days. They were the days when you were stripped to the core. No more pretenses, no more facades, just down to the essence of who you are moving forward.
I think it creates a hunger. We've always had unfinished business, and I suppose that's why we keep on coming back.
It is part of our reason for being to face a challenge and overcome it. That is where our deepest satisfactions come from. And us humans don't understand that there's no shortcut to that fulfillment. And this is why we find ourselves doing things like this.